Eastern group is 50 east of Wampa. Eastern group now turning full angle. Understand, cleared to kill. Leader, past the line now. Cleared kill, cleared kill.
По курсу до цели полсотни 3. Выше 3. Понял. По фронту между целью 2 километра.
Слева, одна справа, 209.
Пошли направо, 39. Наблюдаю, работаю по ней. Десятку наблюдает? Нет. Понял. Находит справа. Иду за паром второй. Уходите влево, 722. Полтора второй, за нами. Работаю по верхнему. Давай, выхожу вправо. Понял. Просто второй за нами, давай. Огонь, огонь! Понял.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome in. I hope that you're all having a good day today. Time for me to do the one thing that I actually need to do here before our Panamanian guests and Task Force Trident is roll for the map. So, 3, 2, 1. That's map number 1. And a coin flip. Now, TFT picked tails, which is number 2. 3, 2, 1. Go. That means that the 52nd PVO is going to be selecting their starting side. I'll load up the mission now, and then we can get this happening really quickly. How are you guys going today? I want to know everything. How was your weekend? What have you been up to? I've had a lovely weekend. My partner came back from being away for a while this morning, so it's lovely to see them. And let me pass over some information. This should be a fantastic stream. The 52nd PVO, I have been reliably informed, is a very, very serious team. And I didn't reset my scoreboard. Oh no, Spade did that just the other day as well. There we go. Isn't the 52nd the MiG pilots? Well, they didn't give me any liveries for MiGs, so we'll have to see what exactly they bring out for us. Yeah. Did TFT already win? Yep. Now, of course, the 50-second PVO fighting on the behalf of glorious Panama here have brought with them some unique liveries. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you one of the debut performances of the 50-second PVO. Have they had a single match yet, or is this their debut? I think this might be their debut. So, please welcome the Panamanians in their first competition. And the chat is entirely wrong about Kennard. Kennards are lame and boring. So, over on the 52nd, we have Gaddafi, Semyon, Vehicle, Saddam, Carl, Quinton, and Kenpachi all spawning in. Looks like we have 3 F-15s, 3 F-16s, and an F-14. They have one too many. Meanwhile, on the blue side, we must pay a little bit of attention to the boys over at TFT. With some very recognizable names, we have Rage, Sauce, Pickle, Venom, Wade, and Nail, all in F-16s. I want to know who you're here to support. There'll be a poll going up in chat for which team you're supporting here for round 1. Task Force, Trident, or the 50-second PVO. Get that one running and make sure everyone can let their voices be heard. So, who can tell me the rules of SATAC? Who in chat knows what the core tenets of a SATAC match are? I'm going to test your knowledge here, guys. I want to know whether or not you've been paying attention. And it looks like the 7th is a standby for the 50-second PVO, just in case they suffer a disconnection. And here we see the first glimpse of the Panamanian F-15 livery. I really hope the F-14 isn't their backup. I hope they're sending out the F-14, because that would be so much fun. I also got some new vinyl records today. Just listening to Simon and Garfunkel. If anyone has any vinyl recommendations, I'd love to hear it. The Panamanian Patriots. So, Gaddafi, Semyon, Vehicle, Saddam, Carl, Quinton, and Kenpachi are all starting their engines and making their way over the starting line. Some of these pilots I'm familiar with. Rage, in this instance, is going to be leading the way. As I believe Rage is the team leader for TFT. What kind of music on vinyl? Oh, I don't know, just any particular records you really like. Is the Phoenix allowed? Oh yeah, the Phoenix is allowed. Nothing against Phoenixes here. You can bring any kind. But remember the rule, a maximum of 4 Fox 3 missiles. So you can't bring 6, you can only bring 4. So that means the F-14 will be carrying at least a 2 AIM-7s or maybe 4 AIM-9s. They ought to start their taxi any moment now. They look organised, they look focused, they look ready. I think, upon initial inspection, that maybe the boys from TFT might be a little bit more organised. But maybe I'm being disloyal and we see the F-14 taxiing to the runway. Oh, I'm excited. I don't think the F-14 has a player in the back seat. I think, actually, it's Jester. Ooh, we get a F-14 in SATAC today. I'm so excited. In fact, just let me check. The F-14 is being flown by Saddam alone. Whoops. Oh yeah, the Nimitz is on its final deployment? No kidding. How old is it? Is the F-14 Wizzo allowed to be extra by now? How do you mean? Like, it doesn't count as a team member. You're allowed to have an AI or a human Rio during the group stages. Oh, with Checklist and who was flying for Bushido Fighter Group? The things that Checklist can make an F-14 do is insane. So the last members of the 52nd are making their way. And while we wait for TFT to get moving, more than 50 years. This is an old girl. Big girl. Big girl. Imagine serving on a 50-year-old ship. Or even older. There must be so much history. So many dents and chips that have been hammered back into shape and painted over and all that sort of thing. It'd be like a living, breathing thing. Two of your favourite squadrons were on it? I think it was Tempest and Checklist? Yeah, that sounds about right. It was fantastic either way. Best use of the F-14 I've ever seen in DCS. All F-16s against this varied loadout. All F-16s against 2 F-16s, an F-14, and 3 F-15s. That'll be interesting because there will definitely be a fuel advantage. Though with that having had been said, bringing the centerline tanks on the F-15s. We were talking about this on Saturday, actually. Weren't you saying, Hex, or was it someone else saying that the drag on the centerline pylon for the F-15 is pretty huge? Even still, I'm sure they know better than me what they're doing. So we won't question their judgment. Meanwhile, triple bags on the F-16s. So no internal jamming for the F-16s on the 52nd PBO. Huntress not playing? No, no sign of them just yet. But it looks like we are seeing the F-16s start making their way. One, taxiing. Two, taxiing. Three, taxiing. That centerline drag is similar or bigger than both outer pylons. Ooh. So, 2 jammers on the F-16s for TFT, and 2 just bringing a clean centerline. And thank you for the raid, Nautica. I hope you're having a very good day today. If you guys are interested in a content creator who specializes in naval expertise, I would say, and a lot of good simulator gameplay, I'd recommend checking them out. And for those of you from the 51st and 52nd PBO who like a little bit of Soviet theming, Nautica has a Soviet Navy themed VTuber that you might like to check out. Welcome in, those of you joining from Anira's chat. You're just in time for the start of a SATAC match, so that's a 6v6 PvP scenario where simulator pilots in fighter jets fight for control over a central area. And it looks like the 52nd PVO are the favourites for this round. I think they have a lot of fans here. Thank you for sharing your community with mine, and I hope they enjoy the match. Your Chrome crashed? That's okay. All I was doing was saying nice things about you. They look roughed up and ready. I reckon they'll be telling us they're good to go in no time at all. All right, Onera, thank you. Seven, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go, go, go. And there we have it. The round begins, and we see the first members of TFT charge down the runway. So, Nail and Wade, waiting last in line. Rage is leading the way, as expected of the flight leader. Campati and Quinton have made it off the deck, and now it's time for the F-15s. Yes, patriotism for Panama will overcome any amount of drag. Not afterburning, which is interesting. So, Samon and Vehicle are heading down the runway, as Gaddafi and Saddam are... Gaddafi and Saddam are now heading down the runway. Oh my god, it's happening again. Looks like everyone is happy, healthy, and off the deck. So Rage and Sauce in one flight, Venom and Pickle in another. And then taking it in the defensive on the rear, we have, you know what I just did? I just caught myself saying, and taking it up the rear, we have Niall and Wade. And I don't know why I thought that. Kempachi and Quinton are heading up into the north in the two F-16s. No jammers, but they don't need them. Looking good in their Panamanian livery. Welcome in, Lakel, and welcome in everyone else. It's good to see you. In fact, let's say hello to some people. Who have we got here? Spade, good to see you. Theta, Civilian, German Evil, King Bailout, Shorty Guns, Hex Partisan, Elytro, Tech Woj, King Bailout. I hope you're all having a great day. I'm going to try something new with the music today. I've got a plan, okay? And it looks like they're separating out, actually. That furry name not telling, 0 IQ main, shorty gun, suitcase handle, one up the bum, no harm done. Well, as long as you take it gentle, I guess. Quinton, declaring in chat, I will sacrifice my life for Panama. Let's go and see where Quinton is. Part of the Viper group. Same, bro. I feel your pain. Can you close the background music? I can turn it down. In fact, I did just turn it down. Venom is heading straight down the middle with his flight leader Rage. Probably be the first to enter the circle. The F-15s have climbed up to 38,000 feet now. Still with their centerline fuel tanks on. Saddam in the F-14. Going straight down the middle, not afterburning and not climbing to altitude just yet, taking it nice and easy up to altitude. This is, of course, a Bravo model. And Vehicle says he's just flying for money. The trick to winning war is to make the other side die for their country without you dying. Vehicle says, I'm just flying for money. Quinton says, no worries, Panama's very rich. And Blue takes control of the battle area. Hey, what you doing? What am I doing? I'm doing a SATAC match. What are you doing, German potato? And here comes Venom. Screaming into the middle of the circle. Venom and Rage actually separating out. Kempachi and Quinton have successfully entered the circle as well. Separating out into a battle line, they are vectoring in towards Venom and Rage. Pickle going very far around the north, going to take their time to enter the circle with the opportunity for a large northward flank. The terrain in the southern area, which Rage is going down now, dominated by very high valleys, which are the perfect environment for missile defense if you can get yourself down in there. With the largest mountain of the Caucasus actually visible just off the nose of this Rage's F-16. Hawk 2-1 vehicle is now 84 nautical miles away from Rage. Semyon following in behind. Venom facing down against two F-16s at 58 nautical miles and relatively unsupported. But so long as there's an awareness of when Quinton and his wingman fire, then there will be an opportunity to defend. Will we see Quinton line up for a shot? Looks like he's just about getting ready to go for it, but he's braking south just a little bit. Meanwhile, Venom, not backing off just yet, launches the first Fox 3 of the match. At 120, looks like it's heading out towards Quinton, who's at 41,000 feet and has not fired back, but Kempachi just loses the missile in return. The AIM-120 towards Quinton has 21 nautical miles to go. Travelling at 1,700 knots at 53,000 feet. But Quinton is already turning pretty cold against it. Hopefully trying to get a notch here. Rage launches a 120 at 40 nautical miles in the southern group, heading up towards Vehicle. This missile at 49,000 feet, travelling at 1,700 knots. Quinton's AIM-120 is now chasing him down, dropping into altitude at a rate of pace. Looks like this one's going to be defeated by sheer speed alone. And Venom's missile has not found him in the sky, and he gets away from it clean and simple. Vehicle having to contend with the 120 that was fired at them initially, but is now turning very cold in a very fast F-15. Lost that centerline tank, still has the centerline pylon, and Rage turns away from the missile that was fired in response. I don't think we have much of a PK on those missiles in the air at the moment, that being probability of kill, but Wade has just fired against Kempachi at a range of 22 nautical miles with a significant altitude advantage. Kempachi's going to have to defend against this one hard. The fuel tanks come off from the Panamanian F-16. And it looks like Pickle has joined in the fight, launching another AIM-120. Rage, contending with the missile that didn't manage to find him, but is at very high altitudes, is going to have to be careful that this doesn't lock onto Source, actually. In fact, Source might be in trouble here. That missile wasn't for Rage, it was for Source. Keep a close eye on these two missiles as they fly. Source hopefully can get away from this one. Looks like it. The missile drops down to 1,100 knots. Everyone defending hard. Kempachi managing to get away from the 120s that chased him down, bringing them down to deck altitude, and now pulling up to get away from them. Quinton not too far away from any of the TFT members, and launching an AIM-120 at relatively close range towards Wade. Saddam fires the first AIM-54 of the match from right at the corner of the circle, and this thing is going absolutely stratospheric. We'll have to keep an eye on that in about 5 minutes when it actually gets back down to Earth. Speaking of back down to Earth, the missile Wade fired at Quinton has impacted the dirt. And did we just see an aircraft go down, or was that a missile? May have just been a missile. Okay, 1, 2, 3. 4-5. We have lost a member of the 52nd. It looks like it might have been a disconnection. Oh, it was actually Niall who managed to splash Gaddafi in the F-15 with an AIM-120. We'll check that one on the TAC view. It must have been a huge range because Quinton and Wade are now facing off directly against each other. Venom fires towards Kempachi. Wade fires towards Quinton. Quinton starts defending. Gets right into the weeds. And now this 120 is going active. Meanwhile, this group of 3 down in the south has a 120 to contend with themselves. All of the planes at relatively high altitude here. This one giving the slip and flying directly underneath it. Does it find one of his teammates that's also in the area? It might be Source. And it doesn't do any damage. Source getting extremely lucky there and managing to get away scot-free, but can Wade do the same? No, he can't. Managing to merge with Kempachi and getting splashed. So lucky on one end in the southern group, unlucky in the northern group. Pickle with a perfect shot against Quinton just down in front of him. Quinton may be caught out of position here, is going to have to defend using the terrain. Let's see how Quinton manages to deal with this one. No particular need for urgency. That 120 completely overshot. Niall and Vehicle trading 120s with each other. Niall at 27,000 feet. But this missile is slowing down to 1,200 knots. Niall's speed is only 600, but I think he's going to get away from it. Meanwhile, Quinton facing down the barrel of Venom. 120s trading in all directions here. Quinton ducking behind the terrain here. Has planes on his left, right, and middle. He gets splashed by Pickle as Kempachi is now facing down against 2 members of TFT. One on his left, one on his right. He's chasing down the one that was on his right. Launches a missile and manages to get the kill. Now has to contend with the remaining TFT member that is right behind them. Niall, Seaman, and Vehicle are fighting hard in amongst the rocks down here. We'll keep a close eye on them. Venom facing down Kempachi has him right off his nose. Down to Heat Seekers though. This is definitely Heat Seeker range. The AIM-9 comes off the rails. As Kempachi may turn right into it, and it finds its target. Kempachi gets splashed. Meanwhile, Vehicle and Semyon in the southern group are contending with the fight down there as one of the TFT members gets splashed by 120 at close range. Looks like it was Niall. Source going down the center of the valley down here, the closest to any of the members of the Panamanian team, and is contending with this 120 from Vehicle. And he spoofs it into the terrain. No chance. Source is defensive. Saddam in the F-14. Flying low. Possibly with the intent of secrecy. I think, in fact, this is an example of hiding from the AWACS. I doubt Rage and Venom may not know exactly where the F-14 still is. Semyon and Rage, 29 nautical miles away from each other. Vehicle and Source, only 10. Source completely cold and defending inside the terrain. Going to be difficult to detect, even though the F-15Cs don't have data link. They're at a little bit of a disadvantage here. Semyon and Vehicle will be entirely visible to Source and Rage down here, as they're flying above 25,000 feet and will be detected by the Boeing E-3. Saddam, still with 3 Phoenixes left, flying right on the deck. Vehicle being forced to go defensive here against the 120 that Rage fired up. This is the trouble with being at high altitude. You can't mess around with missile launchers. Though with that being said, Vehicle doesn't have any 120s left and is down to AIM-7s and winders. Saddam getting dangerously close to Venom here, within 10 nautical miles. Still sticking close down to the deck. But Semyon is coming along potentially to help. Semyon with no AIM 120s left though. The only Fox 3s that are left on the 52nd PVO side are these 3 Phoenixes. Welcome in, SWAT. I hope you're having a good day. Source chasing down Vehicle, who is having to defend hard here. Still with the 120 left on his wing. Meanwhile, Venom, with only 1 heat seeker left, takes an AIM 7 being fired at them by Semyon. But it does not look like this missile has track. It's a Fox 1, it requires guidance the entire way. Though Semyon is coming down on Venom with an absolute vengeance. And off goes the missile. Countermeasures start pouring out of the TFT plane. And Matt, ooh, almost manages to get away with it, but that AIM 7 seals the deal. Rage now chasing down Saddam in the F-14, and Source chasing down Vehicle. And Rage can see the F-14 in front of them, has 1 AIM 120 left and 1 AIM 9. You're outrageous, SWAT. You say that to my face. Source chasing down Vehicle, but still has their 120 left. Rage fires the 120 against the F-14. Is this it for Saddam? Saddam goes down. Mission accomplished. And now an AIM 9 goes towards the F-15. Does the F-15 have any missiles left? Fires off its last heat seeker. Flares going out everywhere. And it looks like the heat seekers didn't work. This might be a merge with 1 AIM 9 in it. Meanwhile, Vehicle and Source are right next to each other and are hunting for each other in the sky. Rage and Semyon now in a gunfight. Source and Vehicle have missed each other just for now. And the AIM 9 from Rage doesn't find Semyon, which means that this whole entire merge is down to guns. So this is a gunfight we've got going on here. The F-15 and the F-16 having to contend with each other. Difficult to say who has the advantage. It looks like Rage has a little bit more energy at the moment. Pulling the nose around. Not managing to get the hit. Just got to keep checking. And Source has managed to find the F-15 that was in the south. Vehicle gets taken out. But Semyon is now on the offensive against the F-16. And is in the winning position. Fires off some gun rounds but doesn't manage to get any hits. The question is, can Source get here in time? A little bit more gunfire comes out. No hits just yet. Vehicle got splashed in the south by Spade, by Source. It might be an overshoot. Semyon pulling out in front. Nearly taking some gunshots for their trouble. Oh my goodness, this merge. Semyon now pulling out in front of Rage again. Rage fires, no impact still. Oh, there's a little bit of bullet damage on the wing. Is that enough to take down Semyon? Semyon is not out yet. Rage is still in the winning position, but has gun damage as well. Both of them have managed to shoot each other so far. And there goes Semyon, taken down by guns, by Rage. Meaning the TFT takes the match. Let's check that everyone's actually down and out. No stragglers. As we salute Semyon for a valiant effort. But I think Rage's plane is done for. What a match. What a match. That was terrific. Rage is definitely broken, so it all falls on Source to be able to make it back home. Source climbing hard now. But let's go see our hero and see what he can do. So Rage and Semyon both managing to get gun hits on each other in a prolonged gunfight, with Rage managing to take their damaged F-16 and push it to its limit, only to have the engine die and quit at the absolute last second. I feel like the F-14 was bizarre there, almost as if something went wrong. I didn't necessarily see what the plan was with the F-14. And poor old Rage, I mean, I'm sure he's fine. Get well soon, we'll send out a tow truck. Meanwhile, Source is heading back home after firing all of his missiles into space. Let's have a look at some of the kills we've missed. I know there are a couple. I hope that you guys are patient with me. My apologies, guys. Just have to check some things in the background. So the fight was pretty intense. All right, what are we looking for here? This southern fight, we didn't see Nail's kill against Gaddafi here. So Gaddafi went down, fighting in amongst the southern sector. Ooh, and quite a... Wow, what a shot. Where did that come from? Looks like it was the... That's a huge shot. Nail firing an AIM-120 at 45 nautical miles. If he doesn't make it back, does it end in a draw? Yes, that's correct. An AIM-120C from Gaddafi. What a shot. Gaddafi managing to pull this all the way down in the altitude, but making the classic mistake of turning back into the missile. You'd never have thought it was still active, especially after being on you for so long, but no, it found its target in the end. Source, Nail, and Rage seemingly defending against AIM-120s. Source unfathomably surviving this AIM-120 shot. A real gift from the heavens, the fact that this didn't take out Source, and in fact, Source ending up being instrumental later on the match, being the one to take down Vehicle, the only person who could potentially have stopped Rage from taking out Semyon. But you know what? This might be a C-fit. I think Vehicle might have pushed it just a little bit too hard here and slipped out of the sky. I've done that exact same thing, and I almost want to say that I've done it in that exact same mountain. When you think you've just got a little bit more to turn, but you don't. With Source, with an AIM-120C, you do have to push it that hard. Poor old Vehicle becomes part of the train. Meanwhile, Rage here. I mean, Rage is right. This fight felt angry. Saddam, confusingly staying low. I wonder if he had some kind of weapons or systems malfunction that pushed him down this low, or if the trick was for him to pop up at the last moment and use his phoenixes to pick off people who had no missiles left. One way or another, to then find yourself directly tailed by Rage, understandably trying to help out a Semyon here. Semyon managing to take out Venom in a pretty gnarly shot here. The AIM-9 doesn't work, but the AIM-7 does. And with the kind of radar that you have on the F-15C, the AIM-7's just not going to miss at that kind of range. And an AIM-54 comes off the rails here from Saddam. Might have been towards Venom. Not a snowball chance in hell of that missile ever finding its target. But that giving Rage just enough time to shoot off a missile and clean up the F-14. And then Semyon and Rage trade AIM-9s at the start. Both of them go for flares. Unfathomable that Rage managed to get away with this one. Instantly went for countermeasures. And the two of them merge. Rage started off with a huge energy advantage, I think. At least it certainly seemed that way. Managing to pull tail onto Semyon, who gets quite slow after pulling a few Gs to get up to altitude. Rage fires his last AIM-9, but doesn't actually manage to get the hit with it. And it was at this point it felt like Rage managed to get a little bit more speed and power in this fight. I mean, look at the trails. That wasn't the first impact against Semyon. No, none of those bullets hit. Semyon pulls a really good shot here, but doesn't manage to get it. Rage, though, dropping down to almost stall speed to get away from it. Jinking with everything he's got. Semyon now at Mach 0.13. I don't know what that is in knots, but it's practically nothing. This is the one shot he has, I think, before he's all out of energy. So he is speeding up. Those engines are powerful. Well, that's the thing. The F-16 is light as a feather. Oh, look at that shot. Rage jinking at the last possible moment. Unfathomable. Missing out on becoming Swiss cheese by milliseconds. More shots go out. Those ones don't hit. Rage now with quite a big speed advantage. But Semyon's right on him. Gunfire coming out at quite long range now. Semyon trying to catch up. Crazy maneuver by Rage. I'd have hit the ground there. And Semyon, look at this. Oh my god, it's such a good maneuver. Look at this. Rage. Oh my god. I'm very sorry to I'm not shit-talking anyone here. But Rage snaps Semyon's ankles in the biggest way possible. Absolute ankle explosion. Shoes exploded. Falling around on the bottom of the basketball court. That was huge. More gunfire. Still no hits. And then Rage manages to clean it up. I don't know specifically when Rage was hit, though. Maybe it was one of the long-range shots. No, I don't think these came very close. Tricky to tell when exactly Rage was hit. I figured it was sometime around about here. I just can't believe none of those rounds actually found their mark. One way or another, an absolutely insane flight. and an excellent effort. Let's go see how Source is going on the way back home. Source at 33,000 feet, travelling at a good speed, has not got far to go. Just 30 nautical miles, so if the engine cuts out now, they can theoretically make it. And thank you for the resubscription, IMY Fighter 104. Come for the dog bites, stay for the soothing voice of the talking aeroplane. Well, I'm glad you find it soothing. Because it's soothing to have you here with me. I am soothed. Oh boy, what a fantastic match. Make sure you stay hydrated. Make sure your heart rate does not elevate too far. Now, of course, Source here needs to land safely to win the round. He's the only player on his team left. Now, I, like so many of you, have landed many planes in DCS, and I have also crashed many planes in DCS, arguably more than I've ever landed. I think that if it was the pressure on me to be the one guy who lands and wins this round, I'm sitting here very, very stressing. Soothing is different from toothing. I would assume as so. Just snooze that ad break for a bit. How good are your landings in DCS, chat? Buttery smooth? It better be. Because you'll never know when it matters. And Cookie, how are you? Always love watching the GDAW. ACR as well. The pride of Indonesia. Crew Chief doesn't hate them too much, not great, still practicing. A pile of flames for you. Use the terrain as your brakes. I think it's good for that. Yeah, my main problem is that you have to survive the flight to actually get to land your plane. And what I will do is I will be on contention and I'll be like 140 nautical miles away from a friendly airbase with 2,000 pounds of fuel. And then I'll hear that there's a hot target coming towards me at 30 nautical miles in the opposite direction, and I'll just commit and die every time. Also, hello Berwick, how are you? Welcome in. Better than mine? Well, that's very true, Mika. Especially in the F4. And Source secures the victory for TFT. After an excellent match. This one is shaping up to look very exciting. Okie dokie. Well, guys, it's time to get ourselves ready for the next round. So, if you want to stand up, get yourself a drink, get yourself ready, then I'll get the mission restarted and they can switch sides and get ready for the next match. Meanwhile, while that happens, let's hear a word from our sponsors over at Master Arm.
Running a dedicated DCS server can be complex, time-consuming, and expensive. And after all that effort, you still might not get the smooth, seamless experience you're looking for. That's why virtual pilots and virtual squadrons choose Master Arm as a ready-for-immediate-use solution and for peak efficiency. With low latency, high stability, and uncompromising performance, Master Arm ensures that every maneuver, every decision, and every shot counts. Stay mission ready. Fly with confidence. Master Arm has your six. Get your server at www.masterarm.de.
Remind me, do they have to land safely at their airfield or at any airfield? They have to land at their own airfield. So it has to be a return to base. No, none of this messing around and landing at the hostile airfield. That's not yours. They'll get mad at you if you do it. All right. Well, let's get an ad break out of the way while we prepare for the next round. Playing 3 minutes of ads at the top of every hour means that I can make sure that there are no ads during the actual competition. And makes for a smoother viewing experience overall. So, we'll get the ads out of the way now while all the players load in and get ready for the next match. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Alright guys, welcome back. The sides have been swapped. As we see Venom, Source, Rage, Nail, Wade, and Pickle get ready for round number 2. Okay, so Nail, Wade, Pickle, Venom, and Source spawned in with Rage waiting to come on. On the opposition side, we have Semyon, Kempachi, Vehicle, and Saddam. Alright, get your votes in now, guys, after that phenomenal effort from Rage. I think we may see a few different votes from round 1. The 50-second PVO were the favourites for the round, but unfortunately were not successful. That's an odd-looking F-15 livery. Oh, well. Customer's always right in matters of taste. If you like the F-15 livery, check out these F-15s. Finely crafted. Hold on. No AIM-9X is allowed. And I can see an AIM-9X when I see one. This is a 9X, right? Yeah, it is. And yes, there is Tomcats, Kempachi, and Saddam. Saddam, unfortunately, not being able to have much effect in the first round. 2 Phoenixes that were launched were to no effect. One of them being fired at barely 500 feet. Unlucky. Semyon and Vehicle here, beginning their taxi as well. Does anyone else intentionally downgrade themselves to the 9M when they have the option of taking X's? I do that all the time, actually. I prefer the way that the 9M looks, and I find it more fun to use. More interesting, at the very least. Not like you have much of a choice, no. In fact, I can't remember the last time I was even allowed to take a 9X. I think Growling Sidewinder is the only place, and a handful of others. Okay, Carl's taken off his 9Xs, which is good. You're a bit dumb, Spaceman. What makes you say that? So that's something I forget to do sometimes. If you're not bringing a centerline pylon, you're going to want to make sure that you take off that centerline pylon rack. So, Saddam and Kimpachi are at the front, with the vehicle following along behind. And then Semyon and Carl and Quentin all getting started, members of TFT, not yet getting moving just yet. All F-16s with the unique livery for the flight leader, Rage. And Rage he did, managing to settle out the game with a guns kill. Got to make sure everyone's got the right missiles on as well. You can tell the difference between an A9M and a 9X by the shape of the fins at the front. I think the reasoning behind the 9X having clipped front... well, I forgot what they're called. The thing on a missile, but the fins, having clipped fins, so it could fit into the weapons bay of the F-22 Raptor better? Am I correct in thinking that, or am I just making things up? Okie dokie. So, Quentin with the standard loadout, triple bagged. Semyon with AIM 120s, Sparrows, and 9s. Yes, kill messages do say which weapons are used. Saddam has retracted their landing gear. I feel like that breaks something doing that. Maybe that's why his weapons didn't work. because he broke it doing that in the first round. Alright, looks like the members of the 52nd are just waiting on Carl to come and join them. It looks like Carl has managed to fill up that centerline pylon as well. Looks like the 52nd PVO are still the favourites for round 2. After getting smashed up in round 1, but it was a close fight. We'll have to see what they bring to the table and shake up for the round to come. Okay. Looks like everyone should be ready now. Why does everyone use the F-16? Well, arguably, of this period, the F-16 is probably one of the finest fighter jets that exists. Within this particular context, where you're limited to 4 Fox 3s as well, it does really well, carrying just the right loadout, just the right amount of fuel, with the right amount of maneuverability, up high and down low. It is useful in almost all scenarios. Goes reasonably fast, it turns really well, it's a great dogfighter, great situational awareness. If the 15 had proper data link and DCS, well, there are some things that the F-16 I think does better than the F-15. The F-15 has the helmet mounted sight, make much better in the mountains in my experience. Okay, so both teams ready. Get set. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go, go, go. And there we have it. The round starts. So, the first two takeoff, Vehicle and Semyon take off along the runway in their F-15 Charlies. Meanwhile, Venom and Pickle are making their way down the runway. The second pair of F-16s for TFT. The HEMX is nice too, it's essential in the merge. You know what the most useful thing about the HEMX, in my opinion, is? And this is no joke. Is that I think the fact that the HEMX shows you your speed makes it so much easier to maintain corner speed in a dogfight. And if you can maintain corner speed in the F-16, you'll outturn anything, except maybe a Hornet. That's the thing about the F-16, at least how I describe it at least, is that I do consider it to be circumstantially better than the Hornet in many air-to-air scenarios. Which one was this track for? This is Scramble 7/48, Ace Combat 4. That's everyone off the deck for TFT, and all of the members of the 52nd are now up and at 'em as well. The 120C has insane off-bore sight potential. You know, in fact, there's one missile that has the most incredible off-bore sight performance out of just about anything in a merge, and it's these things. I don't know if you guys have ever used Phoenixes at close range, but I don't know if they still do it, but they used to pull so many Gs, and they because the rocket motor would burn for the entire flight, you would just have this massive smoke trail of doom coming to explode you, and you'd never get away from it. I don't know if it's still that good, but you know, Phoenix is an AMRAAM with a rocket motor that goes for how many seconds? Like 6, 8 maybe? Vehicle is leading the way, heading straight into the center, and it looks like we have a firm battle line of TFT now. All 4 of them crossing the path of their AWACS, contrails in the sky. The temperature outside today is 16 degrees Celsius, so good weather for flying. As soon as that solid rocket fuel is gone, yeah. That's the thing, that's what happened with Phoenixes. They used to not have as much drag as they do now, and now because they have so much drag, they the moment they drop below like 15,000 feet, they just fall out of the sky. They go from 1,500 knots to 900 knots in like 1 nautical mile of sky. The battle area is contested as Rage crosses the threshold. 100 nautical miles between the opening members of FTQ proceed into the battle area. Let's see if Rage can keep up the pace and keep things moving. Let's get the music changed over. What's the idea behind using the F-14? Well, even though the F-14 is a relatively dated platform by the standards of the F-16s and F-15s that are up here, the AUG-9 radar that it comes equipped with is more than capable up to present day. In fact, of all of the jets that there are available at the moment, I think the F-14 matches the radar that the F-15E gets in strict range, but its track-while scan ability is huge. Vehicle and Venom, 57 nautical miles away from each other. Kenpachi and Rage are right up close. And even though the F-14 is old and these Phoenix missiles, they get a bit of a bad rap these days because they're not as good as they used to be. Under certain circumstances, the Phoenix is really capable. It can reach out and touch people at super, super long ranges, especially if they're at altitude, so... Looks like this time, the Saddam is deciding to go up to altitude instead of sticking around down on the dirt. We might see Rage fire off the first missile here. Doesn't look like he's committing to the shot just yet. Meanwhile, Vehicle has fired 2 AIM-120s. Looks like it might actually be at the central group of Nail and Wade. Hopefully they have the situational awareness to know that the shots have happened. Are going towards them as opposed to Rage and Venom. Venom looses off a 120 and starts going defensive. Looks like that one might be towards the southern group with Quinton at 52,000 feet and the separation between them 22 nautical miles. The 2 AIM-120s heading towards Nail and Wade are about halfway there, and the missiles fired in response towards Kenpachi and Quinton do not appear to have had found their marks just yet. One on Nail, one on Wade. It's like this one's going for Nail. He's been caught out at 40,000 feet. And this missile has all the potential in the world, takes him out. Wade now having to defend against the other track-while scan missile that was launched. He's pulling it down to altitude. And it's chasing him down to 14,000 feet. Venom, defending against the AIM-120, fired towards him in the south. This missile slowing down to 1,000 knots. And Wade managing to defeat. So the first one down is Nail with a long-range shot. And you're right, there is a Phoenix in the air, though it is fired at a huge range. This missile currently passing 90,000 feet. Traveling at 890 knots, this thing is on the edge of space at the moment. Kind of looking like one of those old Soviet R7 missiles. You know, the, what was it, the R5 or the R7? That was kind of the first ICBM that the Russians used, and they also launched the Soyuz capsule as well, the first versions of it. As a missile comes off the wings from Wade. Wade fires at vehicle, and vehicle fires back 23 nautical miles, looking for revenge for the death of Nail. Kimpachi and Source trade missiles at 20 nautical miles, but doesn't look like they're going to have the legs to get there, as Venom fires another 120. The Caucasus Mountains affording plenty of cover. Quinton, now at low altitude, progressing in the south, looking to perform a little bit of a sneaky beaky flank. Looks like Pickle may have found him, though. A 15 nautical mile shot. If that's going towards Quinton, that's interesting. That'll be a good shot. Let's see if Quinton realizes what's going on. Quinton's going to have to turn into the terrain. Ooh, just scraping the edges of the mountain. The R7 Semyorka, it's my favorite, one of my favorite spacefaring vehicles of all time. Pickle managing to use the terrain to defeat the incoming missiles, but the outgoing missiles suffered the same fate. Vehicle potentially fires towards Wade at 13 nautical miles here, this 120. Meanwhile, Kimpachi and Wade are merging with each other. Wade fires the gun for a moment on his F-15. And Wade manages to splash Kimpachi's F-15. And Vehicle has an AIM-120 coming straight for them, but it goes underneath them, managing to get away from that one scot-free. So it's a 5v5. Rage has the 120 from Vehicle heading for him. Meanwhile, Pickle is seriously looking down the barrel of Quinton here. Missiles traded at 7 nautical miles. Is he going to be able to spoof this one into terrain? It's trying, it's nearly notched, and it gets notched at the last possible second. He gets away with it. The missile fight in response does not take out Quinton. Rage, defending against this AIM-120. Looks like he gets away from it, but runs out of speed at the last possible moment. Pickle here, with more missiles coming in. Managing to defeat even more 120s coming in now. Another 120 coming for Pickle. This will be the third notch that he's managed to do in a row if this one doesn't hit. Pickle mastering the notch here. Just managing to defeat every single one of those 120s that are coming out. TFT really putting on a show here. Quinton and Wade now 6 nautical miles away from each other, just over the right shoulder of Wade. Can see him right now, might be able to pick him up visually. Gotta check that data link, he's right there, man. He's right to your right, you're practically merged. Looks like he's found him. But Quinton turns the wrong way. And the 120 comes off the rails. This one's heading straight for Quinton, who's going to have to desperately try and use the terrain to get away. No dice. Quinton gets splashed and turned into memories, but Semyon has to contend with the AIM-9 fired by Pickle. The 52nd falling apart here. Carl in the F-16, no factor at this time. Saddam in the F-14. No Phoenix missiles left, fired to virtually no effect it seems. Saddam in the F-14, 2 Sparrows, 2 Winders. Carl in the F-16, 2 AIM-120s and 2 Sidewinders. And a targeting pod. A missile comes off the rails. Carl fires towards Venom at close range. Venom fires back. Venom might have been caught at too high an altitude here. Is diving towards terrain. Might actually get the 120 to notch into the mountain though. Successful defeat there. What about Carl? Carl using the terrain to get away from the one fight in response, so not much factor there. Saddam now having to contend with an AIM-120 coming in. He's got no Fox 3s left. This might be the death knell of the 52nd. Saddam purely defensive now. Dumping countermeasures. But this F-14 is not looking too crash hot at the moment. A 120 heading straight for Saddam. The F-14's a big bird, hard to hide, but manages to dodge it all the same. Thor says, no, let me show you how it's done, as Pickle has managed to successfully take down Quentin in the south. One F-14 with 4 missiles left. Saddam is all they've got. Saddam merging with Source straight up ahead. Looks like that might be a Sparrow coming off the wings. Successfully dodging the A9 fight in response. The Sparrow still tracking, manages to get a kill with the Sparrow. Unbelievably, but gets shot down in response. 2 burning engines result in 1 dead plane. And TFT secure the battle area. Let's just make sure everyone is fully down. They are. All right, let's check the TAC view and see what we missed. It was a good fight all round. Vehicle getting very lucky here. Well, not luck. Luck implies that it wasn't planned. It was planned perfectly. Managing to catch Nail here. Nail with a 120 coming in at 10 nautical miles range. And this 120 is still traveling at Mach 3.1. And Nail is as hot as you can get towards it. Nail didn't stand a chance of getting away from that one, and splashed him. Quinton in the south here, managing to get some excellent dodges against the missiles fired by Pickle here. But Pickle and Venom keeping the pressure up fantastically. No idea why 52nd is sticking to a Tomcat. Who knows? Who knows? So Quinton manages to defend plenty here, and keeps the pressure up in the mountain fight for some time, but eventually, as we saw here, gets splashed by Wade. Right up the tailpipe. Tries to get away from it. No dice. Semyon here, getting chased down by Pickle. They did so well in the mountains, TFT. Semyon chased down by Pickle. And, detonated by an AIM-9. Let's have a look at what happened to all of the AIM-54 shots. When did we see each AIM-54? So the first one fired unfathomably far away. I haven't even got a clue where that is going. That missile just goes ballistic and ends up done for. The second AIM-54 comes out here, goes ballistic, manages to catch Venom actually, but is pretty much going straight down here. And when a missile is going straight down like this, against a target like this, it's practically getting notched all the time. Any variant of the Tomcat to carry the AIM-120? I think the Super Tomcat D theoretically could have, but they never built that. Let's see, where are the rest of your Phoenixes, Saddam? Another Phoenix comes out here. And... oh, no! I did not realize that Saddam team killed with an AIM 54 here. So Saddam TWS's an AIM 54 right off the rails. It takes off, the motor starts burning. That seeker head says, this looks like a good target. Locks onto vehicles straight away. And if it were a Chinese team, that means someone's getting bought McDonald's. Kablooey. Vehicle gets splashed. So the Phoenix did get one kill this match, which is good. And Saddam then gets pursued around on the ground for a while, managing to take out Rage with an AIM 7 kill, which is pretty cool. And the 120 Bravo, Charlie rather, comes in response, and that's the benefit of Fox 3 missiles. Even though Rage is dead, this missile still has a plan. Tomcats have air-to-air data link. Yeah, it's an older version of data link, but it does work. It does get the job done. Now, when did Carl get splashed here? Carl was the one that got chased down by Venom and Pickle here. He was the one with the targeting pod on his nose. And eventually turns around here, fires off 2 AIM 9s. Venom sees the launches, dumps countermeasures, manages to spoof one of the missiles, but not the second. So Venom here, dumping at all the right countermeasures at all the right time. One AIM 9 gets no lock. The second AIM 9 picks him back up again. In fact, that's a curious missile behavior. I wonder what happened there. It almost looks as if it wasn't going for Venom, and then it picked him up the second time he flared. You know what I mean? That's weird. It was like, didn't necessarily have a lock, finds it right there. Like, it's like the Venom flaring attracted the missile to him. I don't know if that's the case, but either way, interesting behavior. Venom unlucky to not get that one countermeasured. But the AIM 9 fired in response, finds its way, and explodes Carl. So Wade has to make it back home, but Pickle and Sauce are nearly there as well. If they didn't cancel plans to put AIM 120s on the Tomcat, that would have been great. It would have been very, very interesting at the very least. I don't know if the F-14 would have been the right platform for it, though. It wouldn't have carried any more 120s than it did Sparrows, and it already had a Fox 3 missile in the Phoenix. It just never ended up using it. Looks like Source is coming down to secure the victory. And Source secures the victory for TFT, making the score 2-0. TFT, the Task Force Trident, manages to take victory against the 52nd PVO. Pickle, the next one to come in. It's an interesting question, chat. What dream cancelled project have you got? What is the one thing you wish that they actually made? Like the YF-23 or the Boeing next generation fighter that was competing against the F-35. The FB-22? What's the FB-22? Oh, wow. Oh, yeah, this thing. Man, that's so cool. It looks like ridiculous. Okay, Pickle's coming back. Delta-winged F-16. What, the F-16, what was it? XL, I think it was called? Down goes Pickle. And Wade is the last one to come home. Wade taking it nice and easy here. Might be a little bit low on fuel. How much farther has Wade got to go? The airport's right off his nose. 23 nautical miles left to go and 34,000 feet worth of altitude. So even if the engine cuts out now, just hit the EPU switch and you should be able to use the... what is it called? It is not hexafluoride, it's not Freon, it's... Oh, I forget what the EPU gas is. It's not xenon, it's, Oh, it's just slipped my mind, I know this off the top of my head. Hydrovine. That's right. Oh, you guys are so much cleverer than me. Way blasting through the sound barrier on the way home. We'll have the interviews once this is over. I'm sure they've promised to be interesting. Just need to get Wade on the ground. It's not a gas either, a liquid monopropellant. I wonder where the tank for it is. With a catalyst. Ah. It's under the left cheek of the cockpit. Oh, I see. That's not a liquid that I would want to be working with myself. Thank you for all the follows and subscriptions today, guys. I am Fido104, Big Who 12, Blackout 19911. Hope you're enjoying yourselves today and with this SATAC match. We're just about to watch Wade touch down. Alright, let's see if anyone wants to have a talk with us. Promises to be an interesting conversation. Alright, here we go.
I love Panama. Panama is my favorite. I love Panama so much.
Hello,
My
Airshow.
favorite.
Alright guys, welcome in. 50-second PVO making their debut within SATAC. Though I think we have some experienced players here. We've got Vehicle here as well from FTQ. And Carl, Kempachi, Quinton, and Saddam from the 50-second PVO. Along with Rage, Infest, Pickle, and Sauce from the victorious TFT. Now, to start off with, the 50-second PVO seems like a relatively newly formed team nonetheless. How did you guys find each other?
We just love Panama
we
very
all
much. Very, very much. Love Panama. What about you, Kempachi? Do you like Panama?
We all like Panama, and that's a collective interest.
Very serious thing, by the way. We love Panama. We just do. It's as simple as that. Panama enjoyers.
The canal, or just the state as itself?
Everything.
Everything
Everything about
just
it.
everything about
Understood.
Panama. Yeah.
The shape of the
I love
country is nice, and the canal's a nice landmark that you can base off of. We all one day hope to go on canoeing down it. It's been a
Yeah,
goal
yeah,
for
we're all
us,
gonna meet
yeah.
up in Panama. It's gonna be wonderful. It's gonna be
There's
awesome.
a great TV series that has an episode that's set in Panama. I'll recommend it to you guys. You'll love it. So the plan didn't quite work out. What went wrong?
Israel? Do you like Israel as well, since you have the David Star?
We like Panama. We're just big Panama fans. We also
Both
have
of our
some,
squadron leaders are,
I
are
was asking
Panamanian
about.
Jews.
I was asking about the David Star.
Oh yeah,
Both
both of the
what
leaders
What was
are
the
Panamanian
preference
Jews.
about that? Since you're from Panama, could you explain to me the David Star?
It's
What,
both
what,
of us
what
are
is the
Panamanian Jews.
what is the thought behind it?
Both of us are Panamanian Jews.
Yeah. What he said?
Which one? So that's Quinton and Kimpachi?
Correct.
Yes, sir.
Which...
Quinton Compachi. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Are you squad leads?
Yes,
sir.
we are.
But you're
Okay,
not fighting for your original squads.
We are Panamanian patriots. So this is our squadron. We love Panama.
Fair enough. And what about you guys over on the TFT side? Whereabouts did you guys find each other, and how did your team form?
The team's been around for what, 6 years now, something like that. So mostly everybody except me is all brand new. Been on the team for about a year, and
it was a phenomenal performance in the first round. That gunfight with the F-15 was absolutely spectacular. I was looking through the TAC view footage, and I saw that you got hit, but I couldn't tell through which one of the passes you got hit. Was it right at the end, or was it near the middle that you got hit?
It was when I was cold. Yeah, it was when I was told I had to extend away because I was too slow. He pulled max AOA on me, so I extended away and then went defensive, and he gave me a fuel leak, so I had to defend on like half mil just to make sure that it didn't run out of fuel.
Yeah, it was curious because both of you were sitting on the edge of stall speed. It was an absolutely thrilling fight. Looked spectacular.
Yeah, I opted to try and stay inside his radius because I knew he was going to pull max AOA on me. So.
Absolutely. And the first time that I have managed to cast an F-14 being used in a SATAC match, the decision to bring it along, what motivated that? And it didn't quite seem to work with the AIM-54Cs not quite finding their mark. And in fact, in the last round, there was a team kill as well. Did the F-14 just not work out? What was its role within the 52nd?
So, do you mind if I do this one?
Yeah, go ahead.
So, the goal of the 14 wasn't to perform well. As we all know, it's got the worst technology, apart from the radar. It's got the worst SA. You can't see much out the front of it. The weapons are dodgy at best.
Mm-hmm.
The Phoenix has a mind of its own, as we saw. The Sparrow is objectively a toothpick on its tracking, and AIM-9's the AIM-9, we all know about it. It wasn't to kill, it wasn't to be effective. It was these guys were the only ones that would let me use the 14 in a competition setting. So I took my chance.
We've got Tempest and Checklist from the Bushido fighter group that use the F-14
Oh, but they're professionals, Airshow. This guy's
I
clearly
come from
bottom of the
Milsom.
barrel.
Yeah, he's a Panamanian patriot like the rest of us.
So my story is I was directly ripped from Milsom and thrown into this.
Oh yeah, what were you flying before?
Well, the 14. That's my first and only aircraft.
No,
basically.
I mean in which simulation?
Oh, I've just DCS. We had a server for a while.
Excellent, no worries. Well, it's a tricky aircraft to get the hang of, and getting the performance out of it. Sometimes those AIM-54s just do, as you say, completely bizarre things. There was, when you get a chance to see attack views, a really fantastic lofted shot that nearly came down on top of someone. But the problem is that when they're down low, those AIM-54s lose speed like nobody's business. TFT, with the 52nd being a relatively new team, you wouldn't have had much reference material to go off with specific tactics going into this fight. What would you say the thought process was for the team heading into the engagement? Was it just stick to the plan, or were there any tricks up your sleeve you had specifically for what you were going up against?
Largely stick to the plan, but if they bring in FC3 aircraft, particularly with a nice easy ECM it's got, then we had to make sure we use DCM as well, because we don't use that often. But that was essentially it, and just make sure that we
And the ECM is to prevent lofted 120 shots?
Affirm.
Okay. I see. I see.
Because with the 16 radar versus that ECM, you really, I mean, I couldn't even spike anybody outside of 20 miles. So
yeah, that does tend to be the case, especially in high ECM environments. Okay. Well, it was a well-fought match all round, and I think everyone performed quite well. TFT walks away from this one with the victory, so I'll give you guys an opportunity to give any shout-outs or say anything you guys want to the audience. The stage is yours.
Quentin, hit him with it.
Hi, JP.
Hi, JP.
Hi, JP.
TFT, have you got anything you want to say?
I was just going to say thanks for watching. Thanks for flying 52nd. It was much enjoyable. Good dogfight at the end. If you want any more dogfights, do hit me up. I'm always free for a dogfight.
My respect is to you, Rage. Hope you do well in this competition, and hope you enjoy yourself. We certainly did today. We had fun, and hope you guys did too.
Yep.
We did indeed.
Thank you very much. All right, guys.
Before you step off, guys, air show. Before you quit the air show, for the to make it kind of like an insurance for all other squads that participate, because I mean we are planning and making plans with our families and so on. Some are flying on really bad times to follow the schedule. So as I said, there is a lot of planning involved for the streamers and so on. Since your squad, as we noticed, consists of FTQ and Fox and probably some other members as well, and you've been talking not so positively about this event, even though you joined it with allies, or you knew that it would be probably discovered. So my question to you, and I bet all the other squads and streamers and organizers have same questions as well. What are your intentions with SATAC by joining SATAC when your squads actually were not banned? You could still fly with Fox and FTQ as joint force, as we have ACR and other squads. 36 and so on are joined with 101. I mean, many squads joined forces. What is the reason you didn't do so, and why are you flying with LICs? Let's say like that. Why did you create a totally new squad?
We just have a very mutual love for Panama. We just all came together.
Let's actually
Panama,
give the man the real answer. So here's the honest truth.
It's not me you're giving answer to. You're giving answer to all 39 participating squads.
Well, you're the person asking the question. You're the one asking the question. You're not.
But we all are affected by it.
Okay, so here's the honest to God truth. Everyone that was a part of the creation of this team all have a very common thing, which is we don't particularly have a allergy to flying in SATAC. We enjoy competition and we want to compete, right? But the problem is that there's been a variety of issues with this competition for a period of time, which people have verbalized, and to various degrees of either you kick them from the server, or you delete the messages, or you harass people in their DMs. You could just compare the people that flew last year and how many people aren't flying this year, despite still flying in other competitions. Let me finish, please. I'll let you finish asking your question. I'm going to finish answering. No one in my squadron wanted to fly SATAC because we couldn't take it seriously. No one could fly it in FTQ because they wanted to take it seriously. No one in Snake wanted to fly because they could take it seriously. A couple of people in 45th thought just to tag along and to have some fun, but they dipped out actually because they're cowards. And then and then we have a couple of people from the Milsim community. At the end of the day, we're not taking the competition seriously whatsoever, and we're going to continue to fly in it. Maybe, I don't know. It depends on the opinion of the people here. So we decided to sign up with a joke team. And we're going to play.
But people know that you're a Fox team and you're making it worse for all other participants as organizers. And on top of that, by you saying that, look who joined this year. SATAC has been growing every year. So yes, we are not perfect and we are adjusting. And some people will not
all the
like it.
major teams.
Stand by. Some people will not like it. It's normal. But I mean, we had a full pot without you as a joke team. That are now threatening all other squads that have planned things with their families and so on, that you might leave. I never banned Fox or 51st or any of organizers. Neither was FTQ. So I don't understand why you're making life harder for all of us that try just to plan some matches and have fun. That's like kind of unprofessional. And stand by, if you kind of don't find this event as, how did you express it? It's like a joke. I mean, there's plenty of other events that you could fly. Why are you bothering? And again, just as Fox and FTQ, we know that it's you guys. Just make it harder for the community. I mean, in my view, you're just making fools of yourselves. Yes, we are not perfect, but it's hard to please everyone. But literally, you are making life harder for everyone. My intention was not to make life harder for all of the squads. Otherwise, we would not have 39 squads signed up with genuine intentions. And you actually stand by. And the last thing I'm gonna say, you took probably a slot from a genuine squad, which is as well like not nice. So I don't get your thoughts. You may be trying to revenge on me or at someone else or at us as an organization, but in the end, you're revenging on the community as itself. If you don't like us, move on, fly other events.
Here's what
I think you're all taking it a little bit too seriously.
But we are not kicking you guys.
To have fun and enjoy.
If you want, if you want that,
just enjoy DCS as a video game.
If you want to fly,
we're not here to cause a bunch of drama. We're just here to enjoy the game.
Thank you. And if you want to fly, continue, but don't tell us like we will go quit or we're gonna talk about it, because look, people have made plans to fly these matches. It's really unfair. You're talking like that, and I'm just protecting all others.
Let me ask you something. Rage, did we give you any problems today whatsoever with making this match happen?
No, it was good fights.
Did we have 6 people on the day?
Yeah.
Okay, we actually had 7 people on the day. So from what I'm seeing, just from the without the intent of taking the fight seriously part, 2 teams came up with 6 people. They slotted in, they flew 2 rounds, and they fought. I don't see what's the issue there. You know what I do see an issue in is whenever Humble and Snakes tried to reschedule a match and you kicked both of them from the Discord. At the end of the day, we're not particularly doing anything worse than what you've done in the past. So I don't know, man.
But it's okay. You mentioned Snake there again. I mean, it's if it started there, then again, I don't want to go into bad trouble. But it seems we're talking about the schedule here, and it's very relevant. It seems like you guys feel, I don't know how it works in other events, but in SATAC it doesn't work like that. You are not entitled to others' schedule. If people look, schedule is published, and people like other squads, not only you are not the only squad, and there's others who are planning to do so, like 51st, like all the squads that were in the final stage. And if those squads don't want to reschedule, there is not much we can do. So it's rather making you 2 squads angry, Snake and I don't remember there even anymore, or make all other squads angry, 51st included. I mean, and you keep going about it. What I'm gonna end this interview with is very simple, guys. We are not these people who will make life harder for anyone or don't want you to fly. If you want to fly, you fly. But please don't mess with people's scheduling, like saying to me right now, like we're gonna quit or whatever, depending what we decide. You're not making me on favor. You're actually making those squads you're gonna fly against on favor because they plan things. Do you understand? I mean, if you want to do something towards me personally, there is better ways. Don't make things harder for them. and you are free to fly. It's up to you. Even as Fox or Nemesis, it's just funnier for us to fly against people who have some grudge against us, you know. Anyway, thank you, Airshow. I'm really sorry, but I needed this on the record.
Thank you for the game, everyone. I hope you really enjoyed yourselves.
A lot of fun.
Thank you, TFT, and for all of the participants, 52nd as well, for being here. And no doubt the discussion will continue. We will see you guys later. Thank you very much.
Sweet. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, so an interesting day of SATAC matches going on. It's not my place to judge teams. I think the viewers and audience themselves will be the ones called upon to measure the interactions between participants, though I was asked to share that with you. So please enjoy the rest of your weekend. I hope that you take good care, that you enjoyed the match all the same. Congratulations to TFT for a wonderful victory. And we will see all of you later. Thank you for all of your support. And Lucina as well, thank you very much for the raid. Sorry that happened in the middle of a 10th moment. You guys, make sure that you check out Lucina, who was kind enough to share their community with mine during this competition. And I will join you in the next weekend for more SATAC. Take good care, everyone. Thank you very much. Don't forget the socials in chat. There will no doubt be some arguments going back and forth. So you can come and join in with all of the socials for SATAC. And then if you want to hang out with me in a welcoming aviation-centric community, you are more than welcome to join in on my Discord. And you can follow me on Twitter. Thanks, guys. And I'll see you all later. Bye-bye.